Good morning. What's up? Um, this morning is supposed to be the cross examination for Brian Albert. I don't see myself doing a full day today because I got stuff I have to take care of and some things I just got to deal with. But I had to come and see the cross because yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty spicy. Should be interesting. I don't know. It depends who else comes on after him. I don't know who else is next. I mean, seems like they're bringing all the hot witnesses on back to back, but and apparently there was some drama this morning outside of the jury line. People are stating and alleging that this guy Grant Smith attacked a woman. Let me see if I can pull that up. Oh boy. Oh, so here's the video. They got the video here. Oh Lord. Oh, say, can you see?
We're here until 11 p.m. 6:45
Get your body away from me!
Drop that chair here. These people are going to eject you from this line for having not sent the lines in there.
Don't touch me!
You just touch me.
Don't touch me!
Please do
Grant,
not
don't
touch
touch
me. That's assault.
Grant, don't touch her.
Rape.
Get away from me!
Please do not touch me. Ma'am, you cannot touch me like that. It is incredibly inappropriate.
Uh-oh. No, don't do it now.
How dare you?
We have witnesses
Oh,
that saw
shit.
you hit her first.
Excuse me, she just bumped me.
Multiple witnesses.
So I guess the assault is not on video, but I guess this is the aftermath.
I'm going to tell the police you hit her.
We have video of her just touching
Grant, I
property.
have video of you hitting her.
I have a...
How did that chair
So
get
I will
there?
be telling the police that when they arrive.
Oh, I will be telling them exactly what happened.
And there's a gentleman who just accosted me and put his hands on me and
I was just assaulted.
No, you weren't.
That was completely inappropriate. I am disabled.
You
Please.
touched her. You hit a woman, Grant.
Excuse me, my back was turned.
Grant.
My back was turned, sir. It is on camera.
Yes, it is on camera. You're right about that.
I'm sorry.
My
You-
back was turned and she
you-
touched me
You hit
inappropriately.
her.
I'm
You
dressed
hit
in a
her.
black suit.
You hit her. We saw you hit a woman, Grant.
My
We
back
just
was
saw
turned,
you hit a
sir.
woman. We just saw you hit a woman.
And this is going to cause a problem because she came here without having left a line sitter.
Okay.
Why did you have a line sitter here all night?
Grant, we saw you hit a woman. Any comment
Sorry.
on that?
Yes.
Ooh.
Is that rope holding your pants up?
White male, curly.
22117,
Uh-oh.
the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed.
They're
Can I
back.
have counsel identify themselves, please?
What's
Adam
up,
Lally for the
Sherlock?
Commonwealth. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Lally.
Good morning, Your Honor. Laura McLaughlin for the
Good
Commonwealth.
morning, Ms. McLaughlin.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alan Jackson from the street.
Good morning, Mr. Jackson.
Good morning, Your Honor. Elizabeth Little, also on behalf of the state.
Good morning, Ms. Little.
Good morning, Your Honor. Dick Giannetti for Karen Reed.
Good morning, Ms. Giannetti. I'm told there's an objection to something you intend to use during cross.
Yes.
Do you want to come over?
Sure.
Objection. That's a guy that's been standing in the line outside of the courtroom every day to get a position. Now, I don't see him in the courtroom today, noticeably. I mean, I haven't seen the whole pan. I see Turtle Boy. I don't see that guy that was Ellis. Was he kicked out? Let's see. Did the cops get him? So he's been standing outside of the line and beefing with a lot of people, and they're saying he attacked some woman. I guess Grant's claiming that the woman threw his chair. And so they're saying that they saw him hit her, though, on video. I haven't seen it. Let me see. Turtle Boy. Turtle Boy. Outside. Charges are being pressed, but an arrest will not be made because police didn't witness it. Video coming soon. Ooh. Uh-oh. No, this guy Turtle's going crazy. Calling out some other reporter. Damn, bro. It's crazy out on that jury line. Not the jury line, the court line. He was given a summons, no arrest. Okay. He's in there? Maybe he's sitting in a different spot this time then? Should be hot and spicy this morning. Okay. So I'm probably just doing this witness today. I don't know. I mean, unless the next one's really going to be a big one, it might be. But if not, I'm just going to do this witness and then get off for a little bit. Yeah. Grant Ellis. Oh, he's inside, yeah. Judge is here. We begin at sidebar. There he is sitting at the... Oh, there he is. There's Grant. Oh, you know what? I thought Turtle Boy wasn't supposed to be there, though, for this guy testifying. Mel, you showed a video of Colin and his friends threatening, saying, pew, pew. Yeah, I think that was the other day. Friday or something. I'm good, Sherlock. Oh, yeah, it's a complete... it seems like chaos. It's crazy. It's interesting how it's so chaotic outside, and then they come inside and they just sit cordially and polite next to each other. Wonderlust, thank you for the 4 months. Thank you for the resubscriptions. I made it. Love it, Mel. Thank you for coming. Good morning. Well, we haven't had a chase in a while. We haven't had a standoff. Everything's just been dead. Quiet.
Thank you. Oh my God, what a beautiful day, what a beautiful class. I definitely feel that perhaps some light entertainment will get you all to the final realization, you know, I think I've really had enough of this place. Let's bring in a comedian. Let's bring the sophistication and erudition of the Duke experience down a couple notches. And I thought maybe that does make sense.
Apparently they all walked out. They got upset. Famous Jerry Seinfeld managed to deliver a refreshing graduation speech, funny, meaningful, without politics.
All right, so we're all set to begin?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Bring the jurors over.
I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, Jerry's speech. It's weird muscle pain. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, that's fine. Can I unmute?
You are unmuted.
Island Thrifts, what's up? Good morning, Kitty. Chef Apples. Oh yeah, I forgot the hear ye. sounds so weird. He said it.
Yeah.
See.
You rise to the jury.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. All parties having anything to do before the Honorable First Justice Beverly Canoni, now sitting in the Dedham Superior Court within and for the County of Norfolk. Draw near, give your attendance, you shall be heard.
We should clip that.
Commonwealth in this good court. Thank you. May be seated. Court is now in session.
Thank you. Good morning again, Counsel and Ms. Reed. Good morning, girls.
Morning. Well, I got the windows
So
open.
I do have to ask you those 3 questions. Were you all able to follow the instructions and refrain from discussing this case with anyone over the weekend?
Yes.
Everyone said yes or nodded affirmatively. Were you also able to follow the instructions and refrain from doing any independent research or investigation into this case since we left?
Yes.
Everyone said yes or nodded affirmatively. Did anyone happen to see, hear, or read anything about this case since we left here on Friday?
No.
Thank you very much. We'll bring Mr. Albert back in, please.
Yes, the circus outside of the courtroom has continued, mostly in the media line. I missed the chaos, but you can find the reports on other threads.
Just watch your step for me.
Chaos outside. All right, Brian Albert.
The court and jury in the case there here to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
This is the homeowner of where the body was found. The body was found outside of the house. Hold on. Cross-examination, baby.
Okay, whenever you're ready, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Albert, this is not, this process is not the first time you've testified in the court of law, is it?
No.
In fact, you were a police officer for either just under or just over 30 years, is that right?
Yes.
During that time, how many times would you say that you had testified in a court of law in any capacity?
I would say 100, perhaps.
So you consider yourself to be an experienced witness?
You're pro.
In what aspect?
You know what I mean.
As far as being a witness as a police officer?
You've experienced testifying in a courtroom?
Yes.
Okay, so you understand the oath?
Yes.
You understand the gravity of perjury?
Yes.
When was the last time you spoke to Mr. Lally before Friday when you began testifying?
Before Friday, the last time I spoke to Mr. Lally was, I believe, on a conference call around the time of my grand jury testimony.
Which would have been 2022?
Yes.
April of 2022?
Yes.
So you've not spoken with Mr. Lally since that time?
I don't remember speaking with Mr. Lally since that time, no.
What about anybody else from the district attorney's office?
No.
Have you gone over the facts, or what you believe to be the facts of your testimony with anybody before you testified on Friday, not including any lawyer that you may have?
No.
Did you discuss any questions that you may be asked on direct examination or questions that you may be posed on cross-examination with any member of the district attorney's office?
No.
Were you told about any exhibits or documents that you might be shown?
Just in the prep, I believe I was shown a video of the waterfall bar.
And that was back in April of 2022?
No, that was for the prep for this trial.
With whom did you prep for this trial?
Mr. Lally.
I'm confused. I thought you said you had not spoken with Mr. Lally since April of 2022.
Except for the prep for this trial, I had not.
Okay, that was my question, Mr. Albert.
Okay, I misunderstood your question. I apologize.
Did you prep for this trial with Mr. Lowry?
Yes.
When?
Approximately a few weeks ago.
Okay. Mr. Albert, about 45 seconds ago, I asked you, have you spoken with Mr. Lowry before your testimony in this process, this proceeding? And your answer was, no, I have not. Did you not understand my question?
I did not.
What was
weird.
confusing about it?
Yeah,
I was
come on.
expecting you to ask if I had prepped with Mr. Lally. I didn't hear prep
Oh,
with
that's
Mr. Lally,
bullshit.
so I didn't know what you were referring to.
So when I said spoke with Mr. Lally, since I didn't say prep with Mr. Lally, your answer was no, I didn't speak with him. I just prepped with him.
Yes.
What's the difference between speaking and prepping?
There is no difference. I just misunderstood your question, that's all.
Tell me about that prep with Mr. Lally.
Sure. I prepped with Mr. Lally about this trial with Mr. Lally, my attorney.
Where did that preparation take place?
The preparation took place, I believe, I'm trying to remember exactly where it was. I actually don't recall where it was.
Could it have been at the DA's office?
Yes, but it wasn't at the DA's office. No, I believe it was somewhere else, but I can't remember if it was here or the DA's office.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I also asked you a couple minutes ago, did you review any documents or any evidence in preparation for your testimony? And to that question, you also answered no.
Well, I said I reviewed the video.
Well, now you're saying you reviewed a video, but when I
Yes.
asked you, did you see any evidence or documents, anything in preparation for your testimony? You said no, correct?
No, I believe I said I saw a video.
Did you misunderstand my question when I asked it the first time as well?
No.
Okay. I'm going to try to be clearer with my questions.
Okay.
Let me try it again. What, if anything, have you reviewed in anticipation of your testimony in this trial?
So I reviewed a video of the waterfall.
Anything else?
I reviewed my transcript from the grand jury.
So you have reviewed your prior testimony,
My transcript of the grand jury, yes.
which is prior testimony, correct?
Yes.
When did you do that?
I did that during the prep.
What part of the waterfall video did Mr. Lally show you?
It was a small snippet of the video and just one of the 20 seconds of video during that night.
Which part? There's a lot of video there. Which part, if you can tell us, which part did you review with Mr. Lally?
It just showed the waterfall, it showed patrons, it showed myself and the other people I was with.
What were you doing in that 20-second snippet of that video?
I believe in one portion of it I was fooling around with Brian Higgins.
Fooling around?
Yes.
What does that mean?
It means we were just fooling around. That's it.
Fooling around like playing arm wrestling?
No, I don't think we were arm wrestling. I think we were just pushing each other, fooling around.
Oh, so play fight.
I don't think I would call it play fighting. No, I was just...
You remember seeing part of the video where you took a fighting stance, sort of like this?
I actually don't remember that part, no.
No.
Sure.
You remember a part of the video where Brian Higgins took a fighting stance, sort of like this?
Maybe, yes.
So you approached one another?
I don't think I saw that whole video, no.
Practicing fighting techniques?
I wouldn't call it that,
No,
no.
you can have that. I'm sorry, what was your answer to that, Mr. Albert?
No.
So what you reviewed with Mr. Lally was the portion of the video where you and Mr. Higgins were somehow fooling around, and, well, how would you describe it? If it's not fighting techniques, how would you describe it?
Just joking, being silly, just fooling around.
Okay. Doing what physically?
Doing, if you rephrase,
Physically. I mean, you can joke with words.
right.
Were you just joking with words like a stand-up comedian, or were you doing something physically?
No, I think we were pushing each other, fooling around, joking.
Okay.
Oh.
Did you ever show him how to throw a punch?
Did I what?
Did you show him how you would throw a punch?
I don't remember that, no.
Did you squat down, show him how you want to get low when you're either aggressive or defending an aggression?
I don't remember that exact pose, no.
Did he walk over to you and grab you and act like he was going to drive a knee into your stomach?
I'm not sure.
At some point, did you flip him around? Grab him in a wrestling hold?
I may have, I just don't remember it exactly.
Do these things sound familiar when you reviewed, as to your review of the video that you saw with Mr. Lally?
No, I didn't see all those on the video, Mr. Lally.
Did you discuss with Mr. Lally the questions that you might be asked by him on direct examination? Did he go through, here are the topics of conversation that we're going to have?
No, not like that.
Did he go over with you what he believed the topics of conversation might be on cross-examination by either myself or Mr. Unetti?
I believe so, yes.
What did he tell you might be asked?
I don't remember exactly what he told me. He said we could be asked about the night at the waterfall. We could be asked about back at the house, things like that.
Anything else?
Not that I can remember.
Is there anything, given your conversation with Mr. Lally, is there anything that you want to change about the testimony that you previously gave under oath in April of 2022?
No.
The fact that you've now reviewed that testimony?
No.
You stick by that testimony?
Yes.
Okay. Have you watched any of these proceedings on any platform before your testimony?
No.
You've never tuned in to anything that's live streaming, any of the media coverage?
No.
You're aware that your wife testified before you?
Yes.
Did you I don't want to know what the words were. Did you discuss her testimony with her before you testified?
No.
So she came home after testifying in this trial, and you two never brought it up?
No. I just asked her how she was doing, and that was it.
Mr. Elmer, are you close friends with Brian Higgins?
I wouldn't describe it as close friends, no.
He's a fellow law enforcement officer, correct?
Yes.
Works for the ATF?
He does.
The the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, correct?
Yes.
How long have you known Mr. Higgins?
I think I first met Mr. Higgins about 15 years ago.
How did you meet him?
It was a professional, something at work. We may have worked together. I think at the time he was a Cambridge arson squad member. And I think he came into the city of Boston to do something for work.
So you've known him for 15 years, and you were with him on January 28th, 2022, correct?
Yes.
And he's the person that you were, quote, joking and fooling around with, right?
Yes.
You had a long road trip with Mr. Higgins on January 28th, 2022, didn't you?
What's the question?
You had a long road trip with Mr. Higgins on January 28th, 2022, correct?
We drove from New York to Boston, yes.
It's a pretty good drive, you'd say?
Yes.
Consider that a road trip?
Yes.
How long?
I don't know if it was probably somewhere around 4 hours, maybe.
Once you got back from New York to back up to Boston, the
Yes.
Boston area, the two of you stopped at a location, correct?
Yes.
What was the location?
The hillside.
And what did you two do at the hillside?
We went into the hillside, had a drink, talked, and I think Brian may have ordered food.
So once you got back from that relatively long road trip, that 4 hour long road trip, I apologize, you stopped at a bar and started drinking, correct?
Yes.
Do you have anything to eat at the hillside?
I did not.
But Brian did. Brian Higgins did.
I left prior to Brian Higgins eating.
During the course of that road trip, or at the hillside, did the two of you discuss Karen Reed, my client?
No.
Did her name ever come up?
No.
Without telling me anything that he may have actually said, did he mention Karen Reed or the topic of Karen Reed?
No, never.
Did he mention the fact that he had been texting and flirting with Karen Reed 2 weeks prior?
No.
I didn't
So
know
that
that.
subject, according to you, was never addressed or broached by Mr. Higgins or you
No.
What?
during that entire day.
No.
After you arrived at the waterfall, John O'Keefe arrived subsequent thereto, right?
Yes.
How long after?
Approximately 45 minutes, maybe?
And Karen Reed was with him, is that right?
Yes.
Brian Higgins was standing right next to you when she came in along with John O'Keefe, correct?
I'm not sure where people were standing when they arrived.
Well, you remember you saw video, correct?
I don't believe there's any, I saw video of them walking into Waterfall now.
Fair enough, but you saw at least a clip, according to you. You saw a clip of that video of you at the waterfall, correct?
Yes.
You were situated at a high top table, right?
Yes.
Your back is sort of to the camera, is that right?
I'm not sure of the camera angles. The video that I saw, I was at the high top table, but I'm not sure of all the camera angles of the waterfall.
Brian Higgins is the guy with the sweatshirt with maybe a Harley Davidson emblem on the back or something?
I'm not sure what he wore that night. I'm sure he had a sweatshirt on, but I don't know what the emblem was.
Okay. He was standing right next to you in the video clip that you saw.
Yes.
Okay. In other words, that was the video where he was standing right next to you, and you two turn to each other and start this play fighting thing.
Yes.
So if it's that time or sometime around there at the high top, you were in proximity of Brian Higgins when Karen Reed and John O'Keefe came into the bar, correct?
I just don't recall the timing of when they came into the bar.
All right. Mr. Albert, did Mr. Higgins say anything to you at that time about John O'Keefe arriving with Karen Reed at his side?
No.
Did Mr. Higgins say anything to you about being upset that Karen Reed had shown up with John O'Keefe?
No.
Describe your relationship with John O'Keefe, if you would.
So I didn't know John that well. I had only met him a few times. But every time I met him, it was cordial, pleasant. And I would consider him to be a co-worker, even though I never really worked with him directly. He seemed like a nice guy. I knew his whole story about the fact that he had taken his niece and nephew after a tragedy in the family. And I had an unbelievable amount of respect for him doing that. But I can't say that we were good friends because I didn't really know him all that well.
You were far better friends with Brian Higgins than you were with John O'Keefe. That's fair to say.
Yes.
On Friday, you were asked whether or not you knew my client, Karen Reed, correct? This meeting a couple days ago, during your direct examination.
I believe so, yes.
You were also asked the same series of questions at another grand jury not involving the Commonwealth. Remember that in June of 2023?
Yes.
I want to be clear about this other hearing. That was a non-Commonwealth hearing in front of a grand jury, correct?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Lally and his colleagues were not there, is that right?
Yes.
I was not there, Mr. Yannetti was not there.
Yes.
Or Miss Little.
Right.
Okay. At that June 2023, and I'm going to talk about a couple of dates, so I don't want to be confusing. At that June 2023 non-Commonwealth hearing, you were asked some questions about whether or not you knew Karen Reed before January 28th, 2022.
I believe so.
Not in question.
I believe so, yes.
And you testified, before you testified, you were sworn an oath.
Yes.
Same oath that you swore in this trial, correct?
Yes.
Swore to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And you knew that you were testifying under penalty of perjury in that hearing as well, correct?
Yes.
And you testified at that non-Commonwealth grand jury that you, quote, believe Karen was with John the night he came into Hillside, a female that looked similar to Karen from the waterfall came in with him on that night, and I assume that was her, but I can't say for sure, end quote. That was your testimony before that grand jury.
Yes.
But you were also asked a similar question in April of 2022 by Mr. Lally at his grand jury. You remember that?
No.
Oh.
Let's start at the beginning. Before you testified in the April 2022 grand jury, more than a year earlier, and just 3 months after this incident, you were sworn an oath, correct?
Yes.
Same oath that you took in June of 2023, right?
Yes.
And the same oath you took on Friday.
Yes.
Isn't it true that you were asked the question whether or not you knew Karen Reed on January 28th, 2022, and you testified, quote, I've never met or seen her before, end quote.
No, I don't recall that.
Didn't you indicate that you just that you reviewed your grand jury testimony in anticipation to this trial?
Yes.
You'd read the whole thing,
Yes.
and you don't recall making that statement?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, and I'll see counsel at sidebar when you leave that with the witness.
Why? Sidebar. Judge playing defense.
Just please take a look at that.
Sure.
Man, interesting so far. Kind of fiery this morning. It was fiery outside of the courtroom too. I guess they said that Ellis guy attacked the lady or something. Oh my God. Yo. So I believe they charged him, or they gave him a summons, but they didn't arrest him or something. So I guess he's gonna have to appear somewhere because the cops didn't see it. Didn't see what the incident that happened. People on there claiming he had hit her, attacked her. Grant claims that she threw the chair. Like, no! But I don't know. Hot mess outside the courtroom. Brian Albert, on a previous grand jury testimony, I guess they're saying that he said he never met her, never seen her, or whatever.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Mr. Albert, have you had an opportunity to do that?
I have. Thank you.
Does that refresh your recollection as to what you said before the grand jury in April of 2022?
Yes, but you didn't read the whole. You didn't read the whole quote, though.
Right. The whole quote is the following. Question. So the female you had never met before, is that fair to say? Answer. No. I've never met her or seen her before. Period. Maybe once, but I don't think I've ever had a conversation with her. That was the entire quote, correct?
That's the entire quote. Yes, that's not what you read earlier, but yes.
Well, what I read earlier was I've never met or seen her before. Those words came out of your mouth, correct?
That's not my whole sentence. No.
You said I've never met or seen her before, and then you said maybe once, but I've never had a conversation with her, I don't think.
Right. That's my sentence.
Okay, so which is it, Mr. Albert? What were you saying? Were you saying you met her and had a conversation with her? Or were you saying I've never met or seen her before? Which one of those two things was true?
I was saying that I've met her maybe once.
Actually, what you said was I've never met her or seen her before. Your words, not my words, sir. Isn't that right?
No, because in the next sentence I say I met her maybe once.
So you literally changed your testimony within your own testimony.
Objection.
That's kind of dumb,
Can
though.
you answer that, Mr.
He
Albert?
just corrected himself.
I believe I qualified my first sentence with his second sentence.
Ooh.
So what changed between the first sentence, where you indicated unequivocally, I've never met or seen her before, and the second sentence when you said maybe once?
Once. That's a good question.
I'm not sure what I was thinking at the time that I said that.
Isn't it true, Mr. Albert, not only had you met Miss Reed, but you had spent several hours with Karen Reed and John O'Keefe 6 days before this incident. Is that true?
No.
In fact, on January 22nd, 2022, 6 days before January 28th, you socialized with Karen Reed at the Hillside Bar for several hours, didn't you?
I was at the Hillside Bar the week prior, yes.
It was a Saturday night, correct?
Yes.
Ooh.
You were at the bar.
Yes.
There were several other folks at the bar, correct?
Several people, yes.
That included Chris Albert, your brother.
Yes.
A guy named Tim Daly.
Yes.
D-A-I-L-Y, is that right?
I'm not sure how to spell his last name.
Julie Albert was there.
Yes.
Jen McCabe was there.
Yes.
Matt McCabe was there.
Yes.
John O'Keefe was there.
Yes, he was.
And Karen Reed was there. Correct?
Yes, she was.
In fact,
Slam the paper.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
I'd like you to take a look at a photograph Just look at that to yourself for a second. Tell me if you familiarize yourself with it, and then look up when you're ready.
Yes.
May I approach?
Yes.
Actually, I don't need to. Mr. Albert, you can stay there. Do you recognize the photograph that's before you?
Yes.
How do you recognize it?
Well, I recognize the people within the photograph, and the background of the photograph looks like the hillside.
Does that appear to be a photograph that was taken on January 22nd, 2022?
Yes.
You were at the
Group
hillside.
photo?
Yes.
May I publish this now?
Okay, is it already in evidence or you?
Your Honor, I'm sorry.
So you put it in evidence first and then you publish
I have
it?
that marked as next in order,
Yes.
and then
The exhibit 67.
Group photo or surveillance? Imagine he's in there smiling with her and shit like, I never met her before, maybe once. And then imagine he's like a picture hand. Oops. Let's see what it is. I don't know.
permission to publish, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's see.
You
I want to
that
see this.
photograph? It's the same photograph that you're looking at in front of you?
Yes.
Describe who the people are
that's
going
them.
from left to right, sir.
Chris Albert, myself, John O'Keefe, and Tim Daly.
And
How the hell you don't know Karen Reed?
this was on January 22nd, 2022, at about 11 p.m., correct?
Yes.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Albert, who took the photo?
I don't know.
Karen Reed took the photo, didn't she?
Oh!
I have no idea who took that photo.
Oh, he knows who took that
Karen
shit.
Reed
He a
took the photo.
liar.
You're literally staring right at her, correct?
Bruh.
I don't know who took the photo.
Well, who else?
Liar.
Well, there were a lot of people there. You mentioned my sister, two sister-in-laws, a brother-in-law. I'm not sure.
That right there to me, bro, if you
Turn
can't be
the
honest
lights
about
back
that,
on,
you don't know
please,
who
and
took
take
the
photo
picture?
down.
Oh, man.
Did you ever see this photo from Jim McCabe?
No.
Did you ever see it from Julie Albert?
No.
Chris Albert didn't take
Mustard.
it. He's in it.
Right.
Tim didn't take it. He's in it.
Right.
You obviously didn't take it.
Right.
And who's the guy on the far right?
Tim.
That was Tim. Who's the guy next to Tim?
John. Right?
So who do you think?
Do you still need the photo up? I'm sorry, I thought you were done with it.
Do you remember?
Yeah, it was John, yeah.
Okay. With the
Yes.
baseball cap on, correct?
Yes.
I don't need it. No.
Okay.
So given the fact that you were never shown that photo, you've never seen that photo before today, correct?
I saw a photo that was sent to me in Discovery or to my attorney that showed only, I believe, me and John in the picture.
Okay.
I think it's the same photo, only that's blown up to show everybody.
Got it. So given what you now know about that night, who was there, the fact that John is posing for a photo right next to you, who do you think took the photo, sir?
I have no idea who took the photo.
Could it have been Karen Reed?
Objection.
Sustained. Let's move along from
In
that.
fact, you were interacting with Karen Reed and John O'Keefe throughout that evening, correct?
I remember having conversations with John that evening. I don't necessarily remember speaking to Karen that evening.
Dude.
Irrespective of whether or not you spoke to her, you obviously saw her there.
Yes.
You were there with her for a couple of hours.
Well, I wasn't there with her for a few hours. I was there with other people.
Okay. So without splitting hairs, she was there, correct?
Yes.
John was there.
Yes.
You were socializing with John.
Yes.
She was right next to him.
Sometimes, perhaps not, maybe all the times I was talking to him, no.
So you were socializing not exclusively with her,
Right.
but certainly socializing with her 6 days before John O'Keefe ended up dead on your lawn, correct?
We were there at the same time, yes.
And yet, when you were asked 3 months later, do you know Karen Reed, or how do you know Karen Reed, the actual question was, so the female you've never met before. Is that fair to say? That was Mr. Lowey's question. And your immediate response was, no, I've never met her. or seen her before, correct? That's what you said.
That's not my whole response, no.
That's what you said immediately upon that question, sir.
That's the beginning of my response, yes.
That was the first sentence out of your mouth.
Yes.
You also testified at the subsequent grand jury in June of 2023. When asked what was your impression of Miss Reed, you said, quote, I honestly didn't really have one. I didn't have any conversation with her. I just kind of saw her from across the table. I didn't really think of it either way. Correct?
I don't know what that question is referring to. Is that for the waterfall or is that for Hillside?
Hillside.
Okay, yes.
All right. So in June of 23, a little over a year later, your testimony significantly changed from no, I've never met or seen her before, to I really didn't have a conversation with her. I saw her across the table. I didn't really think of it either way. Correct?
No, I think those are very similar testimonies.
When you were asked in the other proceeding, and this is about the waterfall, question, did you talk to Karen Reed at the waterfall that night? You answered unequivocally, I did not. Is that right?
Yes.
And that's what you told the June grand jury, June of 23, correct?
Are you referring to the state grand jury? Or?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's why I'm using dates. I'm trying to be careful.
Right.
April.
I'm just not clear on what all the dates were.
I'll see if I can clarify.
Okay.
April 2022, state grand jury. June of 2023, a different grand jury.
Okay.
Okay. When you were asked at the June of 2023 grand jury, did you ever talk with Karen Reed at the waterfall that night? Your answer was, I did not. Correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. With the court's permission, could I play a small clip from Exhibit 53?
Okay.
Oh, shit. What now? A video? No. Oh, a photo. You said clip, I think?
Starting at timestamp
Oh, Jesus.
11:53 and 15 seconds. If we could just play this, and I would direct your attention, sir, to the upper right-hand corner.
Oh, God. That's Karen right there. Oh, God. Where's Brian? Is that him with the hat on? I can't tell. The hoodie? I mean, not the...
Do you recognize the individuals in this clip?
Yes.
Oh,
Do you recognize that
oh,
person?
it's him. That is him. With the,
Yes, I believe that's me.
skull cap.
Recognize
Oh, God.
I do. I believe that's the defendant.
Ms. Reed?
Yes.
What does it appear you are doing as it relates to Ms. Reed in this clip?
It appears that I'm talking at the table. I don't know if it's
At the
specifically
table.
to her, but
Let's see.
So, did you see the part of the clip starting at 11:53 and 15 seconds, going back about 30 seconds?
yes.
Okay. Who did it appear you were talking directly to, and who did it appear was answering directly to you?
I looked like I was speaking, but I can't say for sure that I was directly talking to the defendant.
Even though it looked like you were looking right at her and leaning toward her as she's answering you.
I was definitely looking that way. I don't remember the conversation.
The reality is, we can take that down. The
Oh, I
reality
should've played
is,
it again.
Mr. Albert, you had many conversations with her throughout the night, like you would with anybody else you were socializing with, correct?
No.
It's not like you ignored her through that evening.
No, I think that just the positioning of me on the other side of the table, I didn't have really much contact.
There was only one person between you, and that was Mr. Higgins.
No, I don't think that was the setup for the whole night.
I didn't say the whole night.
Right.
I'm talking about right then.
Yo,
Right, so-
he literally...
It's an example.
Right. What's your question? Rephrase your question, please.
Did you or did you not have conversations with Karen Reed that night?
I do not recall having conversations with Karen Reed that night at all, no.
And that's what you told the grand jury under oath, notwithstanding this video evidence to the contrary.
Yes, I don't think that video shows that.
I'm going to let that stand. Next question, please.
Look. They're talking right to each other. It looks like, no?
You were interviewed by Michael Proctor on January 29th, the day after this incident, correct?
Yes.
Wow.
And that was 6 days after you spent several hours, Karen Reed, at this event, correct? 6 days later.
Yes.
You were asked by Michael Proctor whether or not you knew or what your relationship was with Karen Reed, correct?
I don't recall if he asked me that.
Did you say to Michael Proctor, quote, that you quote, did not know Karen Reed, end quote?
I may have, yes.
But when you made that statement, you did not know that Ms. Reed had a photograph of you at the Hillside Bar, correct? You didn't know that photo existed, did you?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Sir, you were trying to distance yourself from Ms. Reed in your interview with Michael Proctor, weren't you?
Objection.
Were you?
No, I was not.
Mr. Albert, you were trying to distance yourself from knowing Ms. Reed in your grand jury testimony with, well, I'll use the date, in your April 2022 grand jury testimony, weren't you?
No.
You were further trying to distance yourself from Ms. Reed in your June 2023 grand jury testimony as well, correct?
No.
You thought that it was important to try to deny knowing John O'Keefe and Karen Reed during those interviews and or that testimony.
Objection.
Sustained.
Mr. Albert, you knew that if you admitted having a relationship with John O'Keefe and Karen Reed, you'd have a lot to answer for when Karen Reed's boyfriend ended up dead on your lawn 6 days later, correct?
Objection.
Sustained. You can ask the question differently.
You knew that there would be questions about your relationship with Karen Reed if it were known that you knew her before her boyfriend ended up dead on your lawn 6 days later, correct? There would be questions.
Objection.
You can ask it a different way. That's sustained.
So you lied under oath when you said, I've never met or seen her before, correct?
No, because that wasn't my whole statement.
The sentence, I've never met or seen her before, pretty unequivocal, isn't it?
That was not the context of my whole sentence.
But that's the words that came, those are the words that came out of your mouth, right?
Initially, and then I remembered that I had met her once.
Let me just ask it this way.
Sure.
Is that sentence true or false? That you had never met or seen her before? True or false?
That portion of that sentence is false.
Let's get this on the record. Did John O'Keefe come into your house at 34 Fairview at any time on January 29th, 2022?
Absolutely not. I wished he had.
And you're as sure about that as you are about the statement that you had never met or seen Karen Reed in your life.
Objection.
Correct?
Sustained. Can ask it differently, Mr. Jackson.
Bro.
I want to get back to the waterfall. I know I asked you this about the hillside. I may not have asked you about this specific question about the waterfall. Did Brian Higgins say anything to you about John O'Keefe and Karen Reed walking in together at the waterfall?
No.
Did he say anything or give you any indication that he was upset about Karen Reed showing up with John O'Keefe?
No, he did not.
It appeared from your observations that John and Karen were getting along at the waterfall.
I didn't really notice, but I didn't notice anything was wrong.
They appeared pleasant,
Yes.
happy.
I don't know if they appeared happy. I didn't really notice.
They were interacting with others.
Yes.
You didn't notice any tension,
No.
no argument,
No.
no yelling or fighting.
Nope.
They looked like a normal, happy couple.
Yes.
Did either of them appear to you to be completely drunk?
I didn't have a ton of interaction with John or Karen that night, so I can't really say, but it didn't appear them that they were drunk, no.
You've had an opportunity to review the waterfall video. You did it with Mr. Lally, correct?
The only small portion of it.
Right, but even in that small portion, and based on your memory, you don't remember that anybody being stumbling drunk and falling down over stools and things of that nature?
No.
Okay. They appear to be acting appropriately?
Yes.
And interacting with others appropriately?
Yes.
People were buying drinks for others, is that right?
I'm sure. I don't recall exactly, but I'm sure that was going on, yes.
It's not that unusual to say, hey, I'll get this round, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You left the waterfall at 11:58, is that right?
Yes, approximately.
Who was invited to come over to your house upon leaving the waterfall?
Whoever wanted to, really.
You'd been drinking since about what time in the evening or in the afternoon?
9-ish.
That's when you went to the hillside?
Yes.
That's when you had your first drink?
Yes.
And you continued drinking throughout the evening consistently?
Yes.
Did you believe you were okay to drive?
Yes.
What kind of car did you have at the time?
Ford Edge.
Black?
Yes.
Did you drive that car home from the waterfall?
Yes.
Who rode with you?
My wife and my daughter.
What other cars were in the driveway when you got there?
I don't recall. Brian Higgins' Jeep was in the driveway backing up as we pulled in.
So kind of in your way.
Yes.
In other words, you weren't going to park him in.
I didn't want to block him in.
Right. So you waited until he moved his Jeep out of the way.
Yes.
And then you pulled in.
Yes.
Where in the driveway did you pull in?
I believe I pulled to the left side of the driveway.
You would have been closest to the garage, or was there a car between you and the garage?
I would have been closest to the left side walkway. I don't think there was a car in front of me, but I'm not 100%.
Mr. Albert, did you move that black Ford Edge at any point that night after you got home?
No.
Brian Higgins was the first person to actually physically get to the house. He got there before you, correct?
Yes.
Describe his Jeep.
He had a Jeep Wrangler. I believe it's white. I think it's white.
Any appendage on it?
A plow.
A snow plow on the front?
Yes.
That can hydraulically go up and down?
I didn't see it that closely. I'm assuming it can, but I don't know that for sure.
After Mr. Higgins moved out of your way, out of the driveway, where did he put that Jeep?
I don't know. I don't know where he parked.
So you wouldn't have gotten to the house if you left Waterfall at 11:58. You have to get out to your car, get in your car, start it up, drive home, wait for Brian Higgins to move his Jeep, park your car, then get into the house. That's a fair assessment of the mechanism of you getting home that night, correct?
Yes.
You wouldn't have gotten into the house until, what, 12:15? Maybe 15 minutes for all that?
I would put it more, maybe 10 past 12.
Okay. 12:10 or so?
That would just be a guess.
So it could have been 12:15.
Yeah, and it could have been 12:07.
Who was inside the house when you walked in?
My nephew Colin, my son Brian, and then he had two friends, female friends. I believe it's Sarah and Julie.
What were they doing inside the house?
They were sitting at the kitchen table.
And your nephew, Colin, how old was he at the time?
I believe 17 or 18.
Describe him.
In what way?
Height, weight.
So 2.5 years ago, so he was probably 5'11", maybe 6 feet, and probably 100 and, I'm guessing 175 pounds.
Big boy.
He's
not a small kid.
Right.
I mean, bigger than me, significantly.
Yes.
Athletic guy?
Yes.
Played football?
Yes.
Good at football?
Yes.
You testified that you went to the bathroom after you arrived home, correct?
Yes, after saying hi to everybody, I went to the bathroom.
Was that upstairs or downstairs?
I'm not sure. I have a bathroom downstairs and not downstairs, but on that floor and then upstairs. So I'm not sure which one I went to.
When you came back
I think it was
home,
upstairs.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
I think it may have been upstairs, but I'm not sure.
when you came back downstairs from the bathroom or came out of the bathroom, wherever it was, you no longer saw Colin.
Yes, prior to going to the bathroom, Colin had said that he was getting picked up.
But you never saw him leave.
No,
You didn't see him leave the house, and you didn't see him get picked up by anybody.
I did not.
You didn't see a car outside waiting for him, correct?
I didn't, no.
You did give an initial statement on the morning of the 29th to Michael Lank, about 7 a.m., is that right?
Officer Lank was in the house at that time and speaking to all of us, really.
And you've admitted that you have known Michael Lank for many years, is that right?
Yes.
Did you see that as a problem?
In what way?
Conflict of interest?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll let him have it. Did you see that as a conflict?
No.
You were asked who was present at the house that night, the night before, right?
Yes.
You stated the following people were at the house that night, quote, in response to Officer Lank's question, at some point during the time in question. That's how he phrased the question. Who was at the house at some point during the time in question? You understood that, right?
I don't recall his question, no.
You knew that he was asking who was in the house, right?
That's right, yes.
So you mentioned Brian Albert Jr.,
Yes.
your son. You mentioned Caitlin Albert, your eldest.
Yes.
You mentioned Julie Nagel.
Yes.
You mentioned Brian Higgins.
Yes.
And then you added the detail that Caitlin Albert had left your house about 12:15 a.m., correct?
No.
You didn't say that?
I did not.
I may have just a moment, Your Honor. Yes.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All the papers on his ass. Oh.
May I approach you, Honor?
Yes. Show Mr. Lally.
I'm sorry. So you don't have to sit and read the entire thing. There's right at the top of this post-it, there's a word that says next. If you would read that area, that next few sentences, let me know when you're finished. May I approach?
Yes.
Thank you.
What's the verdict?
Mr. Albert, did you have an opportunity to review that portion of a report?
I did.
Did that refresh your recollection about a conversation that you had along with your wife with Officer Lank?
Yes.
Isn't it true that Officer Lank asked you and your wife who else was in the house that night aside from the names already mentioned? And the names mentioned were Brian Albert Jr., Caitlin Albert, Julie Nagel, and Brian Higgins, quote, who is a friend of Brian Albert Sr., end quote. Is that right?
That's what the report says, yes.
And then the report goes on to say, they advised me that their daughter Caitlin left the house around 12:15 a.m. when she was picked up by her boyfriend, Tristan Morris. Right?
That's what the report says, yes.
Do you think Officer Lank got it wrong?
Perhaps, yes.
Did you say that Caitlin left about 12:15?
No.
Did Nicole say in your presence that Caitlin left about 12:15?
She did not.
At any point, did Officer Lank ask you what time Caitlin left?
I don't recall him asking that. It was a very chaotic morning, and I don't remember him saying that.
So, in fact, if he wrote that sentence in the report, which you just read, he's just making that up.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
I'll ask it a different way. But if that's what Officer Lank recalls, he's just wrong, right?
Yes.
Anything else that he's wrong about in there?
I didn't read the whole report.
At no point, isn't it true that at no point during that interview did you admit or mention that Colin Albert had been at the house that night?
I don't believe I did, no.
At no point during that interview did your wife, Nicole, in your presence, admit or mention that Colin Albert was in the house that night?
No.
So did both of you conveniently forget that Colin was there?
Objection.
I'll ask it a different way.
Sustained.
Did you forget that Colin had been there?
No.
Is there a reason that you left his name out?
Because he wasn't there. He left when we got there. He wasn't there for the duration of the time that we had that night.
Except for the fact that you just testified that you never saw him leave, correct?
Well, he said he was getting picked up, and then he was gone, so I assumed he left.
People say a lot of things, but you didn't see him leave, and you didn't see him in the regular floor of the house, according to you, correct?
Right.
Ground floor of the house.
Right. He was no longer in my house, so he left.
Well, you didn't search the house, did you?
No.
At the time, right. And you never saw him leave.
I didn't physically see him leave, no.
You also gave a statement to Michael Proctor later that morning. It was about noon, maybe it was in the afternoon, noon, 12:30, something like that.
Are you asking?
On the 29th, you later, after you spoke with Officer Lank, you later were interviewed by Trooper Michael Proctor over at Jim McCabe's house. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Colin's name was never mentioned then either.
No, because Colin wasn't at the house for the duration of the night.
So when they said who was in the house, talked about Brian Albert, Caitlin Albert,
Yes.
folks in the house,
Yes.
Nagel.
Yes. There were other people in the house prior to us arriving. I didn't mention them either.
Who was that?
There were some females, friends that were over prior to our arrival, and
But you never even saw them.
no.
So you have no idea who was there and who wasn't there before you got there.
No, I know that there were people at the house prior to me getting there.
Mr. Albert, the question that had been posed to you by several officers was, who did you see in your home when you got there, correct?
Objection.
No, I'll allow it.
What? Can I ask
I
that
don't
question?
believe that's how it was asked, no.
But Colin's name was never mentioned. It's left out.
I testified multiple times that Colin was there when we arrived.
Oh, you did it after the fact, right?
Yes, when I was at...
You knew that the defense knew that Colin was there.
Objection.
Sustained.
In your initial reports to the police, his name was never mentioned, was it?
I did not mention it, no.
And Nicole did not mention it in your presence, did she?
In my presence, no.
Let's talk about Caitlin Albert, your eldest. You told Officer Lank that your daughter, well, according to Officer Lank, let me rephrase the question based on our colloquy back and forth. According to Officer Lank, you're aware that he wrote he was told she was gone by 12:15, correct?
That's what he wrote in the report, yes.
If Caitlin was gone by 12:15, she would not have been there when John and Karen arrived to the house, correct? Because they didn't arrive for 15 minutes later.
But she was at the house, so that would be a hypothetical.
Okay. So, fine. Hypotheticals. Let me ask you a hypothetical. If, in fact, Caitlin was gone by 12:15, that would mean, hypothetically, she would not have been there when John and Karen arrived 15 minutes later.
Objection.
Sustained.
Amazing. They objected. They don't have to give a reason why.
When you were interviewed by Officer Lank that morning, other people were in the room, not just you and Officer Lank, correct?
Yes, I wouldn't consider that morning to be an interview with Officer Lank.
More of a conversation.
Yes.
During that conversation, Nicole was there.
Yes.
She was in earshot.
Yes.
When she was involved in the conversation, you were within earshot.
Yes.
Brian Jr. would have been within earshot.
Brian Jr. wasn't downstairs most of that morning, so he may not have been.
But he was there for part of the morning.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that he was there at the time. Officer Lank was asking questions.
The fact of the matter is, notwithstanding what Officer Lank wrote that you said about Caitlin leaving at 12:15, he did not leave at 12:15. Isn't that right?
She did not, no.
As a matter of fact, in truth, except for the people who lived there, Caitlin was the very last person to leave that location that morning, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And she's admitted that she did not leave until nearly 2 a.m., 1:45, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
You're aware that she did not leave until 1:45 or thereafter. Is that right?
I believe that's around the time, yes.
Were you trying to cover for Caitlin so your daughter would not be wrapped up in this investigation?
No.
But as a reminder, when you were spoken to by the first two officers who discussed who was in the house, you never mentioned Colin was even there, correct?
Objection.
We've gone over that. Next question, please. Sustained.
If Colin was gone, just like Caitlin was gone, that would eliminate them from ever being at the house at the same time as John O'Keefe and Karen Gould, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
On January 29th, about 11:30 or 12, we talked about the fact that you were interviewed by Michael Proctor at Jen McCabe's house, correct?
Yes.
You knew at the time that the state police were looking to interview Jennifer McCabe about her understanding of what had happened the night before.
Objection.
Sustained.
You were notified that the state police were going to interview Jen McCabe.
Objection.
I'll allow it. Were you notified that?
No.
You knew the subject matter of an interview with Jen McCabe was going to happen over, the subject matter of the night before was going to happen over at Jen McCabe's house. That's why you went there, right?
Objection. No.
I'll allow it.
No.
Isn't it true that you knew you had been notified, or at least you believed that an interview with Jen McCabe as part of an official police investigation was going to occur at her house?
Yes.
You were not asked by the police to join her, correct?
No.
You had no official reason to be at Jen McCabe's house, correct?
What do you, I don't know what you mean by official reason.
You were not working the investigation yourself.
No.
You were a witness, correct?
Right.
So you had no official reason to be at Jen McCabe's house during an interview with Jen McCabe.
Objection.
No, y'all allow it.
No.
So, but before she gave her statement, you made sure that you were right there to monitor that interview and exactly what was said, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Were you in her house when Jen McCabe was interviewed by Michael Proctor?
Her house, yes.
You had gone to her house, correct?
I did.
You went there before she gave the interview.
Yes.
So you were there in her house during the entirety of her interview, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And importantly, Jen McCabe knew you were in her house during that interview, correct?
I assume she knew, yes.
I mean, you're in her house after all.
Yes.
I want to get back to 34 Fairview if I could. In the early morning hours of January 29th, Brian Higgins directly followed you into the house after you walked in, correct?
Could you rephrase that?
Sure. You walked in, even though there were some moving of cars, you were the first one to walk into the house. And Brian Higgins followed you.
Yes.
Nicole and Caitlin then came in shortly after that.
I think Nicole and Caitlin probably came in around the same time as me. And then Brian Higgins.
Sorry. Did you make another drink once you walked into the house?
Did I make a drink?
Did you make a drink? Grab a beer?
Yes.
Okay. When I say make a drink, did you get a drink?
Yes.
What drink did you get?
I don't know. Probably just would have been whatever was at the house, a beer or something.
Okay. Did Higgins have another drink?
I don't know.
What did you do? What did you and Brian Higgins do once you were inside the house?
We just kind of hung out, talked.
At any point, did you and Brian Higgins go down to the basement?
Oh.
No, I don't remember going to the basement.
you don't remember going to the basement, or you didn't go to the basement?
No, I didn't go to the basement.
Did Brian Higgins go to the basement?
Not that I know of.
Uh-oh.
And you didn't go upstairs to the second floor, did you?
I think I did go upstairs, yes.
Isn't it true that Brian Higgins has never been upstairs in your house?
Prior to that night?
Ever. Including that night, specifically.
I don't think that's true, no.
You owned a dog at the time, correct?
Yes.
It's a German Shepherd named Chloe.
Yes.
You
Next.
described that dog as being not great with strangers. Isn't that true?
I did describe it that way, yes.
You testified that, quote, it started barking because it realized that people were downstairs, end quote, right?
Yes.
Chloe had a penchant for barking when she heard people, correct?
No, not necessarily.
She did that night.
Yeah, I think she wanted to use the bathroom.
Well, that's not what you said in your testimony. You said it started barking because it realized there were people downstairs, right?
Right.
So your German Shepherd, probably a decent dog, guard dog, if she heard commotion and people, she would bark.
Objection.
Sustained. You can ask it differently.
Obviously, if Chloe hears commotion and people, she's apt to bark. That's the only question.
No.
So just that night, out of nowhere, first time ever, Chloe starts barking when people walk into the house.
No, it's not the first time ever, but she didn't bark often.
Okay. But she did bark that night, right?
Yes.
And the reason that you gave under oath for why she started barking was because there were people downstairs milling about, right?
Yes.
So in that instance, on January 29th, in the early morning hours, she was barking because she heard people.
Well, I can't say why she was barking.
Well, you did say why she was barking.
I let her out to use the bathroom, so I think that's probably why.
Except your testimony was it started barking because it realized there were people downstairs. Those are your words, Mr. Albert, not mine.
Right. Okay.
Do you stand by those?
Yes.
Okay.
You're finicky, man. Your shit's all over the place. Can't trust what you
You
say.
ultimately did let Chloe out to go to the bathroom, correct?
Yes.
Oh, your shit's all over the place.
And then you allowed her to stay downstairs and you monitored her with the others who were in the house. Isn't that right?
Yes.
As a matter of fact, you testified in that state grand jury, the same April grand jury, April of 2022. So I let it go out to the bathroom. I let it back in. I kind of monitored it a little because we usually don't have people over the house and the dog's not great with strangers, period. So I was just making sure that the dog was all right with the people that were over, end quote, correct?
Yes.
So in fact, you did keep Chloe downstairs at least for a period of time with people that were over, right?
Yes, for a few minutes, I think.
Mr. Albert, after you learned that there were questions being raised about John's injuries and dog bites and scratches, in May of 2022, you got rid of that dog, did you not?
Objection.
Sustained. You can ask it differently.
At some point, your family got rid of Chloe.
Chloe was rehomed in May
And we can use
2023.
whatever words we want to.
Oh, yeah.
Rehomed, rehoused, whatever. But you got rid of her. She's no longer part of the Albert family, right?
Objection.
We'll allow that.
Right.
A special safe term.
When did you get rid of her?
So Chloe was rehomed in, I believe, May
Of 2022.
of 2022.
Just months after the incident that we're discussing.
Well, after it was involved, she was involved in a dog fight with another dog out front.
Right, but that's also after the incident
Yes.
we're discussing.
Yes, May.
That's a family pet that you had for 6 years or 7 years.
Approximately 6 or 7 years. Not
Your
sure.
explanation just now for having gotten rid of that dog is because it bit another dog and ultimately sent 2 women to the hospital, correct?
I believe 2 women went to the hospital. Yes.
But you took no action to get rid of Chloe until after you knew that serious questions were being raised about John O'Keefe's,
Objection.
correct?
Sustained.
At some point, you did realize there were questions being raised about John O'Keefe's injuries on his arm, correct?
Objection.
We'll allow that. Did you realize that?
I heard some talk about it, yes.
As of January of 2022, John O'Keefe had never been in your house, had he?
John O'Keefe was never in my house before or after that date.
Certainly John O'Keefe, you would agree with me, he would count, were he in your house, he would count as a stranger to Chloe.
Ooh.
Never met her.
Hypothetically, yes.
I want to ask a couple of questions about your house. I know there's multiple bedrooms. Are all the bedrooms on the top floor?
Yes.
Okay. How many bedrooms?
5.
As we're looking at your house, from the street looking at your house, are your bedroom windows, your and Nicole's bedroom windows, visible from the street?
Yes.
Which windows would they be?
If you were facing the house, they would be far left corner.
Upper or lower?
Upper.
Upper left corner.
Yes.
How many windows? 3 or 2 service that bedroom?
2.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, could I display Exhibit 66?
Okay.
Do you see what is displayed on that television?
Yes.
What does that appear to be to you?
The house at 34 Fairview Road.
Okay. Understanding this is a graphic representation, not a photograph. Do you see the windows that you just described servicing your bedroom on that graphic?
Yes.
Are they right there?
Yes.
Okay. Upper left, 2 windows, correct?
Yes.
And those overlook what part of the lawn?
The front lawn.
Okay. Front lawn toward the left side of the house, not toward the driveway, correct?
Right. I mean, it's the whole front lawn, but yeah.
Right. So they're toward the left side of the house.
The windows are, yes. They asked about the view.
Right.
So the view's the whole front yard.
I'm just trying to make the record, the spoken record, as clear as possible.
Right.
They're on the left side of the house.
Yes.
They directly overlook this portion of the lawn, the left side of the lawn.
Yes.
Furthest from the driveway.
Yes.
We can take that down. Where's your bed, or where was your bed inside that room, as relates to the windows?
I'm just trying to think of how to describe it. So the bed would be in the middle of the bedroom.
Okay, it's a bad question on my part because we haven't been there. Let's do it this way. How many feet from the windows would the closest part of your bed be to those windows?
Maybe 5 feet. 6 feet.
You indicated that Nicole came to bed about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Where was the dog?
The dog was in my room.
And she was sleeping on a mat in your room.
Yes.
And that mat is also about 6 feet from the windows.
Yes.
6 feet being from me to Miss Little. Maybe this far?
Could be, yes. Maybe a little further, but yes.
Maybe this far?
Maybe.
It's a relatively quiet street generally, Fairview.
Yes.
Not an enormous amount of through traffic.
No.
Not a busy freeway or a highway, correct?
No.
Not an especially noisy street.
The street, no.
Especially at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning, right?
Right.
Where were you at 6:03 on the morning of January 29, 2022?
I was sleeping in my room.
6 feet from that window.
Yes.
Was Nicole in bed with you?
Yes.
Had you taken any medication the night before?
No.
Were you on any sedatives?
No.
Sleeping pills?
No.
Were you wearing a sleep apnea machine?
No.
Were you wearing an eye mask?
No.
Were you wearing earplugs?
No.
You shortly thereafter became aware that 6 emergency vehicles, including a fire engine, police cruisers, and unmarked police vehicles, a civilian SUV, were all parked in front of your house that morning, correct?
I'm not aware of what type of vehicles were parked there, no.
You seen photographs since this incident?
Of the vehicles out front?
Right.
No.
Are you aware that all of those vehicles had their engines running?
No.
Are you aware that all the emergency vehicles at least had their lights on, flashing lights?
No.
Were you aware that there were a number of first responders outside their vehicles traipsing around your lawn?
Was I aware?
Were you aware at the time?
No.
Were you aware that there were emergency responders, first responders, who were talking to each other over the din of the wind and the snow
What?
to communicate with each other?
No.
You're aware that there were 3 women on your lawn at one point?
Just only after the fact.
And at least one of those women was screaming to the top of her lungs at 6:03?
No.
Again, your German Shepherd was 6 feet from the window, correct?
I don't know that for sure.
That's where her mat was.
Well, that doesn't mean that's where she always is. She also sleeps in the closet area sometimes.
Oh, so now Chloe's in the closet.
I didn't say she was in the closet.
yeah.
I said she sleeps in the closet area sometimes.
Was she sleeping in the closet area that morning?
I don't remember.
Likelihood is she's sleeping on that mat 5 or 6 feet from that window, correct?
Judge, I don't know.
System.
And your explanation, and by the way, we've already talked about this. Earlier that day, you've already indicated she was barking because she heard people and noises downstairs when you guys came in the house.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
least
And your
it's admitted that.
explanation is that you and Nicole and Chloe, the German Shepherd, all slept through the entirety of that commotion on your front lawn.
Yes.
Whoa.
To be clear, you are a trained first responder.
Yes.
Yet during that entire event, after you were awakened, all that chaos on your front lawn, you never came out of your house to assist or investigate in any manner whatsoever, did you, Mr. Albert?
Once I was awakened?
Correct.
No.
We've talked about this a little bit, but I want to ask you a couple of other questions about the layout of the house. The house is sitting on top of a basement, correct?
Yes.
Or was at the time. Describe how you get to the basement from inside the house if you come in the front door. And when I say, I'm sorry to do this, I don't mean to interrupt you. There's 2 front doors that you go in, correct?
Yes.
For purposes of my question, Mr. Albert, I'm going to talk about the one that's right in front of you, the obvious one, as the front door, and the one to the right of it as you're looking at the house as the side door. Okay?
Okay.
Because I don't know how else to describe it. If you come in the front door, describe for the jurors, where is the basement door as compared to that?
So you walk straight ahead. You pass the kitchen dining room area opening on your right-hand side, and there's a door on the left.
How many paces? The door opens. How many paces to walk over and grab that door handle?
I'm not sure, maybe 10?
10 full paces.
Maybe, yeah.
So
Maybe 8, maybe 8.
Albert, it's about 4 long steps, correct?
Well, I don't know, you asked paces, so,
Right.
6 feet,
6 feet.
6 to 8 feet, maybe.
Got it. What was the basement used for in January of 2022?
So the basement had a weight room in one of the rooms, and the other room was nothing at the time. It had been damaged, water damage due to an overflowed toilet.
So part of the flooring had been ripped up,
Yes.
and that opened up some slab concrete downstairs.
Yes.
There was also some plywood downstairs.
Yes.
There were a couple of mats where the actual weights were, so they're not slamming down onto concrete.
Yes.
But there was a good amount of that floor that was just exposed concrete.
Yes.
The workout equipment would include things like, what, barbells, dumbbells,
Yes.
heavy weights,
Yes.
heavy bars
Yep.
made from metal.
Yep. Once
You're down in the basement, by the way, there's two flights that you go down at angles to get to the basement. A series of steps, a landing, take a left, another series of steps, and you stand on the basement.
Yes, not a long staircase, very small, but
Right. I mean, it's narrow and tight, but in other words, you don't just walk straight down a staircase. You go down to a landing, turn left,
turns a little.
go down, turn left again, and now you're in the basement.
Yes.
If you wanted to move something large or heavy out of that basement without having to go through the house, could you do that?
Objection.
What's wrong? Yeah.
Could you rephrase the question?
I'll say it again. If you wanted to move something large or heavy out of that basement without having to go through the main house, could you do that?
Yes, I mean, it would depend what it was, obviously, how big it was, or
How would you do that?
A body.
there's a bulkhead door you can use.
Got it. Where does that bulkhead door come out of?
It comes out to the backyard right at the kitchen area. You can see it from the kitchen.
And right to the left of that is the side fence.
Yes.
And directly through that side fence is the front yard.
Yes.
The same side of the front yard as John O'Keefe's body was found.
Yes.
Ooh. Ooh.
Your Honor, I would ask at this point to mark a video. Let me have just a moment.
Yes.
That's interesting. So I didn't know they had that type of entrance, the basement bulkhead. I just showed a picture what it looks like on screen for those that don't know. So they were saying you could avoid bringing if you had to move something heavy, which he's implying a body, obviously. You don't even have to take the body through the house. You could exit out the side or whatever. And he said that's the same side where side of the house where the body was found.
Mr. Jackson, would you like to take the morning recess?
That'd be great. Good time. Yes, thank you.
Let me get a little caffeine. We'll be right back.
All right, please. Here's the county notebook. Follow me, please.
Hold up, man. Who's that shit on here?
Thank you, maybe see.
Do you anticipate having it all on a flash drive to put in? All right.
It's like perfect.
You are muted.
Artificial. Metal like metallic like taste.
Maybe.
It'll be the morning recess, children.
He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. I did see the post. So this lady, where did I have it? Grant Smith Ellis. Don't avoid what happened out there in the jury line this morning. Oh, he's waiting. He's watching every move, waiting for you. He's got the line in order. I put my chair out here days in advance. Oh, it's my spot. And you're going to have a problem. Oh, you're going to have a problem if you try to. So here's a lady, Jessica Machado. So there's drama out the side of the courtroom this morning. I got to show a clip too in a minute that BL sent me. And, yo, thank you for the memberships this morning. Wanderlust, thank you for the membership. Island Thrifts, thank you for the 5. And for some reason, I guess because Mustard Mama was still up on the screen. Mustard Mama, thank you for the 20 memberships. Holy crap. Amazing. Amazing. So Jessica Machado, correspondent for Fall River Report. and New Bedford Guide. I'm not sure what those are. I guess it's media companies. And so she goes on to tell the story. This is the Chairgate. I spent the start of my Mother's Day driving an hour out to Norfolk Superior in hopes of getting a space in the media line so I could be in the courtroom for the first time in 2 weeks for the Karen retrial. I took a photo and timestamped it at exactly 9 a.m. By the way, happy Mother's Day, or belated Mother's Day to all the mamas. So, yeah, I had a good day yesterday. I have all kinds of shit going on, which is just crazy. I really feel like I could write a book one day. Before I pass, maybe one day when I'm kicking back, smoking a cigar or something on the beach, I'll have somebody write me just tell the story, write a book. But anyway, yesterday I went to lunch. My sister, mama, grandma, aunt, and the GF, and it was a good time. And this morning I had to take my family to the airport on a little trip. So she spent the start of her Mother's Day. She drove out an hour, and she took a photo and timestamped it. Now, some people say this is kind of controversial. I don't know how you guys feel about it in the chat. This is the method they've been doing at this courthouse. They've been like putting a chair out, and if you have a chair out, where it's your spot. Now, I don't know what the decorum is, like if there's some type of rules or so like unspoken rules that, like, you know, can you do it the night before, or can I just leave my chair there the entire week and that's it? Now I got a spot forever type of shit. I don't know how it works. But so she timestamped it, took a photo, they went back to her car, stayed there for a little while, and then they drove home to celebrate today with my family. She was on a podcast from 8 to 9 p.m. And my plan was to head back to Dedham to spend the night waiting until the doors open. However, I was notified that Grant Smith Ellis moved my chair and put his ahead of mine later this afternoon, hours after I was there. I have seen 2 different videos of him swearing, screaming, and being overall unhinged while sitting in my space. I have seen him. He does seem something seemed a little bit off with the guy, and that's me being very nice and courteous, because he seems kind of quacked out a little bit. At this point, I actually don't think it's safe for me to be alone overnight with him there. I can't get people, I guess, staying there overnight, sitting in the chairs, and I guess to hold the spot. So she don't think she feels safe overnight with him there. I can't guarantee someone else will be there. I can't record myself the whole night. As some of you may know, Grant has made sexual motions towards me. Oh, God. While in the press box last month, I did submit a complaint to the Norfolk Superior about the interaction when it happened. I can protect myself, but I fundamentally don't believe I should even be in this situation. I also believe that Grant is dangerous and doesn't seem to understand basic professional standards. Given his proven track record of blatant lying, I don't think anyone should be alone with him. So that was a timestamp in her phone. And Grant wasn't having it. He was not having it. No! Let's see if Grant has said something about this. I'm going to play that video back too. No. This isn't justice.
I hope we get a handshake. Officer Murphy.
Watch your back.
Oh, I love it. This video of them walking into the courtroom. It's crazy. It's a lot of people out there. Big story for that town.
Good morning, Rita.
Good morning.
Officer Murphy.
Fellas, let him walk. Let him walk.
Oh, yeah, look at the media and everything out there. Wow. Watch your back. Watch your steps, sir. Man, they gotta have like a cop escort to let him get inside. I think most of the people there are in support, though, of Karen. Damn, so Grant Ellis Smith. Toto Boy posted, saying I might just stand for this witness today, but it'd be funny if this witness is like the entire day. Like, fuck. Let's see. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, that's dope. This was the aftermath.
She just touched my property, Paul. She didn't have a line fitter here until 11 p.m. 6:45
Get your body away from me!
Drop that chair here. These people are going to eject you from this line for having not sent the lines in.
Don't touch me!
Hey, was it touch her, tap her?
These people are going to eject you from this line for having not sent the lines in. That chair here. These people are going to eject you from this line for having not sent the lines in.
Don't touch me!
You just touch.
Don't touch me!
Please do not touch me. That's assault.
Grant, don't touch her.
Rape.
Get away from me!
Please do not touch me. Ma'am, you cannot touch me like that. It is incredibly inappropriate.
He says he's disabled too, so I wonder what kind of what kind of issue or he has.
How dare you?
We have witnesses that saw you hit her first.
Excuse me, she just bumped me.
Multiple witnesses. You hit her. I'm going to tell the police you hit her.
We have video of her just touching property.
I have video of you hitting her.
I have a...
How did that chair
So
get
I will
there?
be telling the police that when they arrive.
Oh, I will be telling them exactly what happened.
And there's a gentleman who just accosted me and put his hands on me and
I was just assaulted.
No, you weren't.
That was completely inappropriate. I am disabled.
You touched her. You hit a woman, Grant.
Excuse me, my back was turned.
Grant.
My back was turned, sir. It is on camera.
Yes, it is on camera. You're right about that.
I'm sorry.
My back was turned and she touched me inappropriately.
You hit her.
I'm
You
dressed
hit
in
her.
a black suit.
You hit her. We saw you hit a woman, Grant.
My back
We just
was
saw
turned,
you hit a
sir.
woman. We just saw you hit a woman.
And this is going to cause a problem because she came here without having left a line sitter.
Okay.
Why did you have a line sitter here all night?
Grant, we saw you hit a woman. I mean,
So that's his complaint. Again, I'm not there. I don't know what's going on, but I know. I think Turtle Boy has a line sitter, meaning he has somebody out there. They'll physically not just have a chair, but they'll sit in the spot. And I think there's a news media outlet out there paying somebody to hold the spot. So he's claiming that she just had the chair there.
any comment on that?
Yes.
Is that rope holding your pants up?
White male. Here. Glasses.
I wasn't gonna say nothing. I was gonna say about the rope, but hey, sometimes times are rough, man. You know.
Okay. I'm actually.
Oh man, the pants are barely hanging out for life.
I was fine until he touched me, and I can't.
Yeah, Ty, I need an officer.
He touched her.
Hold on.
He pushed her.
Just came here and assaulted.
Crazy, man. The circus outside of that courtroom. Every day it seems like there's something outside of the courtroom. Okay, let me see. So the clip that BL sent. So this is the whole. I should probably play this other one too. Actually, from the other. I think that was from Friday. Let's do this first because they were denying, that he. I don't know if professional fighter is the right word, but he trained fighting. He said he's not trained in fighting or whatever, denying it. There's literal video.
Sergeant Albert cut his teeth as a Marine in Operation Desert Storm. He views his work back in Boston as equally important. And he knows it's just as dangerous.
I feel like if I took up boxing, I'd probably lose a lot of weight. I don't know how often I'd have to do it. It's really tiring. I only one time played around. Like my friend had they had some gloves and stuff. Bro, like if you're out of shape, you don't have any, do it for a few minutes. You'll be like winded type of shit. That'd probably be a really good type of exercise that's like active and moving around and stuff like that. All right, the other one, I should probably find something I can do, like a class or some shit. Or maybe just get one of those bags. So, this is Microdots posted this on Twitter. Apparently, I think Turtle Boy said that they used Microdots graphic for the master bedroom. Oh, this is kind of cool. All right, let's do this first. The video. So this is the enlarged and edited, full cleaned cut of Brian Albert and Brian Higgins play fighting minutes before John O'Keefe was murdered at Brian Albert's house. We'll give it a little retweet. Share it out, okay? Let's check it out. No volume, I guess. Oh. The thing that, for today's videos, the thing that shocked me today, because, I'm kind of like, I haven't deep dove this story. And so the thing that blew me away today was like the whole thing where like, I've never seen her, never talked to her. They did have that one add-on of that sentence where he was like, maybe once type of shit. And then they literally pull up video of this interaction. I'm pausing for a second. My ADD ass. I should probably get medication, but they literally pull up this video. And him right here, like, it looks like he's talking directly. Let me see if I can make this shit even. I gotta get the zoom in thing for YouTube. Anybody know if there's like a zoom in thing for YouTube? Way to zoom in? Figure it out. But this is Brian and this is Karen, and it looks like they're talking to each other, facing each other, interacting with each other for, I don't know, a couple seconds. Look at that, bro. When I saw that earlier, I even had to take it back. I was like, he's trying to claim that, oh no, I'm not really, no, I might have been just looking at her, but not talking to her. Like, what? And she's looking right back. They should have played that over again in the court. But the jury, they'll be able to watch everything over. Lisa says, what are your thoughts on Karen being found guilty? I don't know. I don't know. I think she has a really good defense team, and they're poking a lot of holes. I feel like it's too early for me to say, but I feel like I think her defense is doing really good. I feel like her defense is poking a lot more holes than I've seen in other trials with other cases. Their defense is kind of keeping the trial alive, honestly. Like as far as like the watch value, people watching it and stuff like that. So I wonder when they actually start and present their witnesses, how that's going to go. The more and more I see, the more and more I start to be like, kind of question things a little bit. I really want to see Colin's testimony. Is he going to testify? Colin? So it seems like the theory is that maybe Colin did some shit because Colin didn't like John. And this right here, this little thing here, it's just a little character map from Court TV. But this shows the people that were in the house. So the people that are highlighted red, the gray people, the lighter colors were not there, but like the brighter red. So Brian Albert, we're watching his testimony now. Nicole is his wife. They were talking about Caitlyn. This is the big one for me. I want to see Colin testify. Then you have Brian Albert Jr., Julie Nagel. Jennifer McCabe is another big one. She's the one that supposedly texted the hours. I don't know. it's hard to think sometimes that all these people could be involved, but then again, like, I don't know. You know, maybe are they trying to, cover for each other? Maybe, especially if it was a kid. I say kid, but how old was Colin at the time? He was 17 or something, I think. Especially maybe a kid to try to protect or cover up. And I mean, the whole thing, it is a lot of stuff, man, because when you think about, too, the dog, Chloe's gone too, man. How they got rid of Chloe. Chloe's a problem dog. Let me see Chloe here. I got a picture for Chloe. Chloe's a problem dog, and not only that, it was like with the strangers, had issues with strangers, but let's see how we fix this. Oh, they used to let me do something. Boy. It's actually Biden's dog. Biden's dog attacked like 20-something people, 22, whatever. They had to finally get rid of the dog. Biden had to get rid of the dog. But not only that, after the death of John, sorry. I always want to say James O'Keefe because I think about the Project Veritas guy, but after the murder or death or whatever, the dog goes on to have other issues with neighbors, and two people had to go to the hospital. It seems like a very problematic dog. Justice for Chloe, right? How they call the family dog it. And that dog. Let me keep playing this video. I don't know, man. I feel like so far her team is doing good. Her team is doing really good. She's getting her money's worth. And the thing, what happens? Let's say she gets found not guilty. Then what? Are they going to go after anybody else? Do they even have enough to go after anybody else since they never even searched the house? Does it just go unsolved? Emily's killing it with the trial. 24,000. And she's on her own time too. That's the amazing thing about it. Well, let me see. Hold on. Oh, wait. I'm kind of not even paying attention. Over here. Let's see. What the hell is this? A neck hug? Another thing? Look from the back? What the hell? Ugh. Wow. What kind of tomfoolery? Oh, yeah. Oh, I got you. I got you too. All right, bend over. Neck hug. There you go. Neck hug. What kind of shit is this? You gonna slap him in the ass? Oh. Have they shown all that in court yet? I feel like they've paused it, but have they shown that? The hell? This is odd for me. I don't know. The fuck is... Whoa! What the hell is that? Yo! What the fuck? No! Yo, is he kiss? He's kissing this guy? Who's that? His friend Brian? Oh, hell no! I ain't grabbing his ass. Yo, what is this shit? Freak off. It's a freak off thing, a freak off party. This is odd as shit to me, dude. What the fuck? Bro. All right, we got to timestamp that. Hold on. Where are we at? An hour and 50 in? Okay, let me take it back a few minutes. Holy moly. Mamma mia. So somebody explain that shit to me. Is this just normal? Is this how guys hang out and shit? I'm telling you, I used to have these friends when I worked at the hospital, and we used to all hang out and drink and stuff. And some of them, like, they would be like with each other, like chucking each other in the groin area. I had to check them real quick. It was at the hospital. I remember there was like 2 incidents where they're doing it to each other, and I just thought it was like so weird that some of these people find this as like, especially guys, they'll start like doing this weird shit, yo. Put a couple of drinks in them. Oh, what's going on? Well, party's on tonight. Like, got you. I got you. Like grown men too. I'm not talking about like high school, like grown men. Got you. Like, fuck out of here with that shit. Don't touch me. What the hell is this? They should show that in the court. Maybe they're lovers or something. The hell is that? When the Samuel Adams hits? Wow. Okay. That was a good clip to see. Let me see if anybody commented about that. Don't miss the timestamp 329. Yeah. Yo, it looks like they kiss, or maybe they kiss in the cheek. Some type of mafia thing too, maybe a kiss on the cheek. Wow. Wait, did JM Lord JO, so BA and BH could discipline? What? Remember when went to CHS with BT and CC to discipline JG. Oh, they're wrestlers too. Maybe they're into wrestling. Be careful with scrolling. Twitter is like... Twitter, I think, is almost as bad as TikTok for kids. Because you'll be randomly scrolling and they just put like porn stuff there. Or like all these chicks just randomly posting everywhere their OnlyFans stuff. So you gotta be real careful. Or sometimes like Twitter has like algorithm thing where they just put completely unrelated stuff into a post. Alright, we're back. Oh, you know what? I got my magnesium.
Thanks. Please be seated, quarterback.
All more.
All right, are we all squared away?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Albert, did you speak with anybody at the break? About your testimony?
Just my attorney.
May I approach?
Yes.
Take a look at this photograph, Mr. Albert. And if you could please tell me if you recognize what's depicted in that photograph.
Yes, it's the bulkhead stairway.
Is that the stairway that you earlier described for the jurors as servicing the basement going into the backyard?
Yes.
May I approach?
Yes.
I would have asked to have this marked as next in order.
Hang on, you judge. Exhibit 16. Thank you.
Got you, yeah. Oh, I got you.
Yes.
No.
Publish, Robert?
Okay.
It's just a game, right? Yeah, it's just a game. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Do you see what's depicted on the television screen?
Yes,
Does that appear to be the same as what you're holding right there, that exhibit?
it does, yes.
Okay, I'm going to direct your attention, if I could, to the lower left portion of this photograph. And right there. Do you see that? Tell what that is.
I can't.
Let me highlight it one more time, right there. Maybe it's easier if you look on your photograph.
Are you referring to the doorknob? Yeah, I got it here, yes.
I'm sorry, it's sort of hidden on that photograph, so I apologize. Is that the door that swings open or closed to close off the basement?
Yes,
Then if you open that door, it's in the open position now, correct?
yes,
So the photographer is standing in the basement looking toward the doorway, correct?
yes,
Then you climb 7 or 8 stairs,
yes.
and that bulkhead door, which is where all the light is emanating, how does that open?
So the bulkhead door opens straight up.
Okay, at least in that photograph, it was hinged toward the house and it would open up like a, I don't know, like a sandwich or something.
It opens straight up to the bay windows that are in the kitchen.
Got it, okay. Okay, that's all I need for that photograph. Your Honor, I have a flash drive with a video on it. I'd ask that this be marked as next in order. Court's permission.
Assuming it's the same one, no objection.
It's the same one. Okay.
The exhibit 69.
Are you going to show the video? Thank you for the 10.
Mr. Albert, I want to ask you to take a look in just a second at a video and then describe if you recognize what's in that video. I'll probably play maybe 5 or 10 seconds of it and then pause it. If that's okay. Court's permission?
Yes.
Richard, thank you for the 10. I'm going to read your message in a second when they pause again. PayPal.
Pause.
Oh.
Do you recognize what's depicted in that video, at least up to that point?
No.
Okay. Does that look like your basement door, although the bulkhead doors have been replaced different?
The whole thing looks different to me.
Let's go ahead and play the video.
Oh.
Pause. Now do you recognize what's depicted in the video?
Yes.
What is that?
So that's was my backyard.
Okay. And what area is over to the left over here?
That's a gate
Okay. And what does that gate open up to?
to the front yard.
So the area that we're looking at right now, where the photographer is standing, is the backyard?
Yes.
Now, having seen that, notwithstanding the way that the bulkhead doors open, now do you recognize what was depicted at the beginning of the video, which was that staircase?
Yes. The downstairs door, the door itself, the wooden door itself, also looks different.
Okay. So, but it is
But it is the stairway. Yes.
going into the basement?
Yes.
Or coming out of the basement?
Yes.
So in other words, another way to put that is that represented the ingress and egress through the bulkhead to the basement.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go ahead and play this.
Oh. Is that where the body is from?
Did you recognize what was depicted in the video? Bring the lights up. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. Did you recognize what was depicted in the video as it continued to play?
Yes.
Describe that for the jurors, please.
It looked like the video was from walking from the backyard towards the front yard.
So the video started at the bulkhead door, turned toward the fence, went through the fence, and right up toward the flagpole, correct?
Yes.
Is that an accurate representation of the layout of the house when you lived there on January 28th, 29th, 2022?
Yes.
With the exception of the bulkhead door having been replaced and maybe the basement door.
So those trees and bushes were there too? Like all those?
By the way,
that's interesting.
The 34 Fairview house had been in your family at that time in 2022 for 2 generations?
Wow.
My parents built the house in the late 70s, 79 maybe.
So if your parents are 1 generation, you and your family are another generation, 2 generations.
Right.
Nearly, maybe actually a little more than 50 years, half a century.
That what?
It was the
You know what he's getting at.
Yes.
So like, act like he's confused. You know where we're going.
The fact is, you listed that house for sale for the first time ever in November of 2022, correct?
That's the time we listed it, yes.
Just months after John O'Keefe was found on your lawn.
Wow.
Objection.
Sustained.
Why is that?
Mr. Albert, is that timing, according to you, a coincidence?
Is what?
Is that timing a coincidence?
Well, that's not the timing, actually. We contacted the realtor in 2021, finally listed it in 2022.
Got it.
So that would be pre-incident.
So the listing coming 9 months after John O'Keefe was found dead in your lawn, or dying in your lawn, that's just coincidence. You had this in place long before that.
Objection.
So I'll sustain the question. You can ask it differently.
Sure. All I'm asking is the timing, November of 2022, listing that house for sale for the first time in November, that in your mind is just a coincidence.
It's not a coincidence because we started trying to look into selling the house in 2021, which was the few months prior to the incident.
On January 28th, 2022, you were still an active Boston police officer, correct?
Yes.
What was your job title in January 2022?
Sergeant Detective.
That means you not only respond to incidents, you actually conduct investigations as a detective, correct?
Yes, primarily fugitive investigations.
You have additional training in order to hold the title and hold a position as a detective, is that right?
Yes.
Not just a regular patrol officer, you have to have special training to get to the rank of detective, is that right?
Yes.
As a sergeant detective, that's above a regular detective, indeed, because you're a supervising detective, is that right?
Yes.
You have experience in training in order to hold that position as a supervisor in the detective spot as well.
Yes, there's civil service tests for the rank, but yes.
And you've investigated crimes, I mean, I'm guessing just a ton of different types of crimes, including assaults, manslaughters, homicides, kidnappings, things of that nature.
No.
You've never investigated anything like that?
No.
So what's the parameters of your investigative skills as you held that title of sergeant detective?
So my parameters were investigating fugitive investigations. That was my specialty, I guess you could say.
So you've responded obviously to countless incidents and scenes as both a patrol officer
Yes.
as well as a detective.
Yes.
You've supervised the investigation of at least the fugitive type of crimes, correct?
Yes.
Fugitives trying to thwart investigators to try to find them, right?
Yes.
That's their whole, it's the cat and mouse thing, right?
Right.
You being the cat, correct?
Sometimes. Yes.
You're also trained in techniques, obviously any detective would be trained in techniques that culprits might use or suspects might use to sort of cover up investigations. To cover up crimes, to thwart investigations, correct?
Objection.
Do you have that training, sir?
No.
So you, in all of your training, 30 years as a Boston police officer, and as a sergeant detective, you don't have any training in what techniques criminals might use to try to cover up their conduct?
No, I've never gone to a training for criminals to cover up conduct, no.
Never been trained in the fact that, I don't know, somebody might want to clean up blood at a scene?
No.
Objection.
The answer stand.
What about sanitizing a location?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
No.
What about getting rid of electronic data? You've got to have training in that.
No.
In other words, the fugitives that you chase down and try to find, you don't try to utilize electronic data to go after them?
Sometimes we do, but I don't have any training in it per se.
I mean, things like GPS data and phone calls, and text messages, communications, things of that nature, obviously.
Yes.
Clearly. These are all things that, at least those things, are things that if you didn't have formal training, you got on the job training and just have common sense about how to go after this type of evidence, correct?
Yes.
Sir, you had an iPhone with a number ending in 0888 back in January 2022, did you not?
Yes.
How many years did you have that iPhone as of January 28th, 2022?
Of several years, I'm not sure how many, but multiple years.
And Mr. Albert, you were notified by the Commonwealth that on September 23rd, 2022, in the fall of 2022, a judge specifically ordered that you were to preserve that phone.
Objection, Your Honor.
Data, correct?
I'll see counsel at sidebar.
Brian Albert. Under the fire. Richard, thank you for the 10. Says LMFAO. Love the YouTube. Let me see the family jewels when they are hugging. Oh, man. And May 9th, I think I missed this. Mary, thank you for the 25. Appreciate that. No message. And Richard previously had sent 10 and 5. I somehow missed that. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Somehow, I don't know how I missed that. I guess I didn't get a notification. Alrighty. So today's pretty interesting. Hot on fire. Let me see over here. Boston. So, Albert's cell phone objection from Lally. And jurors invited to stretch, none do. They're probably all glued to this. What are the parameters of your skills? Fugitive investigation.
For a few minutes.
Stretch. Hold up. Hear ye, hear ye. Hear ye. The guy has like no facial expression. The guy that's doing that every day, it's like I never see the guy smile. Just like hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Goes back and disappears to the next day. Uh-oh. Okay, hold on. Julie Grant snapping.
Right, and I am going to see if his counsel here, he has a right to be present in the courtroom.
May I step out for a moment, Your Honor?
Sure.
Julie Grant said, "This is the cross? This is all you guys have to offer?" From Court TV. Pathetic. All you conspiracy theorist nuts. She said Karen Reed's defense has been accusing the officer of being involved in the murder of fellow officer John O'Keefe, and yet they're not crossing him on it? Gee, I wonder why. So Julie's snapping. Uh-oh. I gotta see if she has a video on this story. I remember one time she said, "Oh yeah, she did have one recently." Julie's snapping. Uh-oh. Ooh, Mustard said, "I was called a conspiracy theorist, but I didn't take the jab. Who's laughing now?" I didn't take it either. Hell no. But if you want to, no problem. If you want to do, you do that. Hell to the now. I gotta find out lady's video. I think they're actually doing a great job. But I don't know if she's trying to say that they were saying it was him, because now they pivoted to it's Colin. I mean, I don't know if that's a pivot. I don't know if that's always been the thing either. Say Court TV.
All right.
Oh, boy! All right, let's see. Did she have an episode? Recently, I want to watch Julie's thing. 19 hours ago. Let's see.
Another question. Okay. Hold on.
No, it's just testimony. Julie. Let's find Julie here. It's 2 days ago. A recap. I want to see Julie snap, Julie. She's got a dog, though. You got to love her. Aww.
Said you're having trouble finding the channel lately. There's been a little switcheroo in your area. Fear not. All you have to do is go to courttv.com, click on the where.
Got to do it with a dog, man. You put a dog up, you're going to get them views, man. Everybody loves dogs. Let's see. I think they did have something. Yes. What a panel today with Court TV. Julie Court TV. This was from when? May 13. Today. Oh, so she's on there? Oh, hold on. Maybe it's on their live feed. Let me check out Court TV. Maybe they're having the panel on their live. Julie! Julie.
All right, so Mr. Jackson, you can have revoir, dear.
Does that mean they're going to talk with the jury?
You are currently represented by Mr. Henning.
Yes.
Seated behind me. Gentleman in the,
Yes.
in the gray suit. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Without telling me anything you've ever communicated with him, when did you hire him as your lawyer?
I'm not exactly sure of the date.
Give me a time frame. Let's see if we can narrow it down.
2022. I'm just not sure the exact date or even the month.
For the end of 2022?
I'm not sure. I believe prior to some of the other testimony that I gave. So prior to
April of 2022 at the state grand jury?
No, prior to the other testimony.
Okay, that was in June of 2023. That's my question. Did you hire Mr. Henning in 2023 in anticipation of giving testimony in June of 2023?
I'm not sure of the exact date. I believe it was maybe the end of 22. I'm not sure.
Or did you get a subpoena for the other hearing?
I did.
Okay. Did you hire Mr. Henning after you got that subpoena?
I can't say. I believe so. Right around that time, yes.
Okay.
I'm just trying to remember the time, and I can't remember it.
Okay. So you did not hire. Well, you're all right. I think that answers the question. Not represented in 20.
I'm going to see at sidebar about the extent of the inquiry.
Mention something that's coming in to our newsroom from our team in the field. Apparently, there was a bit of a skirmish in the media line today outside of the courthouse. We know this is a small courtroom, only 10 seats every day, so members of the media have to line up ahead of time in order to get admitted. And apparently, there have been some belligerent arguments going on in that wait line day in and day out. This has become somewhat routine. But today, we understand from our team that things got out of hand when one reporter accused another of trying to push her down the stairs. So that's what we know thus far about this case. And just wanted to mention that we're getting this information, but court has not yet begun. So anyways, there's been a lot going on outside the courthouse. We know that. We know we've seen supporters of Karen Reed's, who knows there? Who knows that she is a very wealthy woman from a legal team, that she has resources, and the state is far outnumbering the resources that the facts on their.
All right, I want to see here another. I can't find the one where she actually spoke. Besides that. Oh, man. Good morning. If you guys could hit the like button too, please, I'd appreciate that. I'd appreciate that. By the way, I almost don't even want to, oh, damn. Somebody could reply to my comment on Julie Grant's thing. Wasn't she also Team Amber Heard? Oh, shit. Her and Coffin Blabber are insufferable. Yo, was she Team Amber? Anybody know in the chat? Uh-oh. Lord almighty. Lord, now, Julie.
Thank you.
May I interrupt?
Yes.
Thank you. You had received, and I want to draw your attention to 2023 now. I'm sorry. Now I'm doing it. The fall of 2022, September of 2022.
Yes.
Did you receive a notice on Commonwealth letterhead indicating that you were not to destroy or in any way manipulate any data on your cell phone? Destroy the phone itself, or to manipulate or destroy any data on that cell phone?
I do not remember getting that letter. No.
I'm going to read this for the record, Your Honor, if I may, with the court's permission.
Yes.
Did you receive a letter that said, in essence, not even in essence, it should be quoted as the following, quote, "You, Mr. Albert, are hereby notified that the defense in the case of Commonwealth versus Karen Reed, Norfolk Superior Court, criminal case number